Mm, no. Um, usually, the field testing was set up in advance, so we would make arrangements for a representative to be on site for when we were testing it. So let's say if it was like fiber optics, make sure we had a representative the from the fiber optic company that we bought the fiber from, or the um, pieces of equipment that they were plugging into. So when our crews were installing them, if they had issues, that a representative could be there on site to answer their questions. You know, whether it's they couldn't get the fiber optic cable connection to properly install, or they had issues, making the connection once they had the end terminated. Maybe they had an issue with getting it to plug into the piece of equipment that they needed. So
Um,
that was part of that field testing, making sure we had the right representative there on site to help answer any questions.
okay, okay. And so just a few questions before we wrap up. Do you remember any management related responsibilities that you had while you were at this position?
Mm, I would say, the coordination of the pre-bid meetings. Um,
Okay. What were the challenges that you had to address while you were doing that?
so some of the issues that might come up while we were doing that was making sure all the right parties were there. So at the pre-con meeting, we had to make sure that we had a safety representative there. We had to make sure that you know a representative from the project management team was there. That we had one of our electrical field guys there. We had a representative from our high voltage shop. Just coordinating the different um, areas that needed to be
Mhm.
represented at the meetings to make sure that they were there. And then if for some reason, they couldn't make it, maybe an emergency came up and,
Yeah.
the high volt, that representative couldn't come. So to make sure that notes were properly taken if questions were asked specifically to that department that wasn't there, you know, make sure that they received the questions that were answered and any notes or minutes that were taken. So it was my
Okay.
responsibility to take the notes and then to distribute the notes to any to all that were attended or that did not attend.
All right. And because now you're a senior designer there, and sometimes when new people are hired, they ask senior employees to train them. So did you train any new designers, onboard any new employees or staff members?
Only in the sense that we had talked about before. We had the new engineer that started.
Yeah.
I was the only designer that was there, so I did not, there wasn't anybody else there. It was just that one engineer. And again, my extent of training to them was, showing them how the project system, the folders were set up for the projects, um, how to find the standards, that sort of thing.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, so what department were you working in Reedy Creek Energy Services? Because you were
Uh,
doing electrical distribution in power, right?
yes, I was working for their electrical engineering department.
Electrical engineering. Okay.
Correct.
Uh, and you didn't have any other project management or just overall operations responsibilities? Maybe were there any processes that you streamlined or any operations that you fixed or increased efficiency or anything of that sort?
Well, okay. So I was also responsible for maintaining their construction standards,
Okay.
and I was responsible for giving the second revision of their construction standards. We had worked on that for 5 years. It took us 5 years to bring their standards up to date, meet with
Wow.
with meet with project management and the high voltage shop, all the shops that were involved to get their buy-in on any changes that were made in the standards or um, any details that they wanted added. What did they want to have or change or what did they want to delete, what was obsolete. So it took us 5 years to revamp the construction standards, and I was
Wow.
in charge of that.
What were the issues in in the existing construction standards?
Some of it was just like I said, obsolete standards. So part of the construction standards, they have to follow ANSI standards or IEEE standards. And when you looked at the construction standards, it actually said, according to maybe ANSI standard, and then it would give, which standard, which issuance it belonged to. So I actually had to go through there and update all the call outs for all the various standards, national standards that they
Okay.
were referencing and bring them up to date.
All right. And so once you were done with revamping, what result did you see? What improvement did you see as a result of this?
Well, the first thing that we noticed is we issued it, and then as soon as we issued it, um, a couple of um, the field engineers, for project management,
Mhm.
they were looking at the details. They had given me a detail to update. They said, this doesn't work anymore. One of them happened to be stub outs into a transformer. How do you put the conduit? The various ways that they could enter a transformer with conduits.
Mhm.
So we had updated it, so you could either come in from the front, you can come in from the back, you can come in from the sides, and we were showing them how they could do that.
Okay.
And from the time that they gave me the updated sketch to the time that it was published, they had actually made revisions to that sketch. So as soon as it was published, we had to come back and update that particular um, detail because it was changed already. So it was things like that, things that were recently changed right before publication, that maybe they were doing in the field but didn't officially tell us to update the book. So we had to go back and make a few changes after the fact.
All right. Okay. So what was the improvement then?
The improvement is they were working with the most up-to-date standards that were currently out there, because the
So,
issuance. So the one that I updated was issued in like the early 1990s.
oh
So
wow.
it was over 10 years old when I started working on it.
So I was wondering, like, did you see an improvement in efficiency or, just maybe like if you could somehow quantify the improvement?
Like I said, in this case, that one detail keeps coming out in my mind. It was how to install the conduit into the transformer. It was the efficiency on how to
Yeah.
install the conduit or the feeder into the transformer.
Yeah. So
Um,
could you maybe estimate by how much the efficiency of the process improved? It doesn't have to be an exact number, just an estimate, even. We could write it like that.
and I wish I could tell you, but because I was going, from what the field engineers would say, this is the way we're now doing it in the field. So it was implemented based on what they were already doing, but I never received feedback on you know,
Okay.
how much more efficient it made it.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
I didn't get that kind of feedback.
All right. That's fine. So this is all I have regarding these, but just I'll go quickly through the keyword list that I sent you. So we talked about performance reviews, and we talked about coordination and the developing department training plans. And so we talked about, one thing that another thing that was there was promoting and participating in the power culture. So was there anything, do you have anything to add regarding that?
Um, so so the way that we promote power, so we have twice a year outings. So we help in our department as the when the invitation goes out for the outings. We help make sure that people have respond that one that they're aware that they saw the invitation for the outings that we are
Okay.
having. And then make sure that if they're interested, have they signed up yet, if the deadline's coming for signing up, oh, by the way, if you haven't already signed up, the deadline's Friday. If it's Monday, you need to sign up by Friday, so you can help join in the fun on whatever the outing happened to be. With new employees, we help. um, so Powers culture is based on the three-legged stool principle: do good work, have fun, and make money.
Okay.
So we tell that to the new employees coming in. We like to have a good time, but we also we work really hard to have that good time. You know, for the
Yeah.
outings that we have, the work, the outings are our rewards. So we try to stress. You need to make sure you do a good job. And when we do a good job, this is our reward. We get the outing, or um, recently we started, we'll randomly buy coffee for the department, or we'll do something, take them to lunch, or something unexpected. If somebody did something really well, or they accomplished something, we want to reward them, we'll spontaneously do something like that.
Okay, all right. And then there was another bullet about interface to interface with clients and other power offices. So do you have what have you done regarding this, like personally?
So my two projects that I'm working on in California, so um, they're both multi-office projects. So I'm working with, in one of the projects, I'm working directly with our San Diego office and their engineer there. And then on the wind project, I'm working with the substation department in my office, as well as um, two other power offices, um, working on various parts of the project. So we're coordinating all of our um, drawings, all of our connection points. We're communicating by email. We have conference calls. We're constantly exchanging information so we can stay up to date on that particular project, since
Okay.
there are so many offices and moving parts.
All right. Um, okay. So this is all for I have. I just have one last question. That if I were to ask you, what are your in terms of your career, what your three top qualities or skills are with regards to technical project management? What would you say?
What are my three top skills for technical project management?
Did you say are you
Organization. I would say organization.
okay?
I'm, I consider myself to be a well organized person. I take lots of notes. I'm constantly taking notes. They actually make fun of me with all my note taking. Um, I create. I'm old school. I deal with paper, so I make paper folders, and I, put all the pertinent information for my projects in my folders. And when people come up and say, "Hey, do you remember this or do you have this?" I pick up my folder and I start flipping through my folder, and I'm like, "Yes, here it is."
That's nice. The organization comes in handy then.
So I would say organization. I'm well organized.
Okay.
Um, I feel like I communicate well, internally and externally with my clients. Um,
Okay.
so it, I feel like in part of the communication, if I need to delegate a part of my work to another team member, I will write it in an email, and then I will give them a chance to read it, and then I'll go check in with them. Hey, by the way, have you had a chance to look at the email that I sent about the request that I made for whether it's drafting or um, doing compatible units or doing mapping, whatever the component happens to be, did you happen to see it? And, would you like to discuss it? Do you have any questions? That sort of thing. Do you want to sit down and, go over anything specific? So I think I communicate well, um, both internally and externally. When I get emails from the clients, communication, I keep them informed. Um, if it's like one today was they sent a request to put in a permit extension. So when I got the email, so they're not sitting around going, "Hey, I wonder if she got it." I responded, "I have received your request, and we'll notify you, once the extension has been filed." So I try to keep them informed so they're not guessing. I at least acknowledge, their request or whatever it happened to be.
Okay. And the third thing?
The third thing. Mm, That's a good question too. I feel like, and so training, like mentors asking questions. I don't know how you want to phrase that.
No, that's okay. Don't worry
so,
about it.
um, so when people come to me when they're seeking advice because they have a problem, maybe they have a design question, they might have two options on a design, and they want to talk through the design, which option do you feel would be better? What's the pros and cons, of the design? Do you feel one's better than the other? So we'll talk that out. um, whether they can't find, a standard, I'll help them locate, a standard, for the situation that they're working with, or, finding them um, a part number, whatever it happened to be. They tell me that they come to me because they like the way that I explain things. I don't just say this is why and leave it at that. I give the explanation behind the why. We do it because of this.
All right. Okay. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry. I thought I lost you there. Okay.
Okay.
That's good. Um, so this is all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
When I initially signed up, I think they said that the resume would come back by December the 4th. It would be ready by December the 4th. Is
Yes.
that still a good date?
Yeah, because we had a call today, so yes, 1 week from now.
Okay. All right, good. Because I wanted to be prepared for when the posting hit.
Yeah. So you also purchased the LinkedIn service, right?
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Yeah. You also purchased the LinkedIn profile service.
I did, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when you have the job when the job when you so you'll be first submitting your resume for the job, right?
Correct.
And you'll have interviews as well?
Yes. Um, Once the applications are reviewed and they select their candidates, then yes, I will go through a formal interview process.
Okay. Because you've done a lot of design work and this is more project management related, um, it would be, I just feel it would be good if you went through the interview, with somebody, just went through a mock interview or a feedback so that when you're answering, your answers are more, project management aligned. Um, so for that, I would definitely recommend one of my colleagues. She offers interview coaching service, and she's pretty good at it. So maybe that's something you could think about.
Okay. And how much is that service?
It's just $100 because if you have any concerns regarding the interview process, or you think that you're not, you're a little worried about something, so those are the sort of things that you could discuss with her.
Okay.
So what she does is that she conducts a mock interview for the first 20 minutes, and then she works with you for the next 40 minutes, going over the answers, giving you feedback, and helping you hone in the answers and give very aligned and precise answers, basically, for the real interview.
Okay. All right. Um, do I
Um,
have to give you an answer for that right now?
No, 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 no. I was just because you told me about the position, and I just because based on what I talked to you during the call, so that's what just I felt that you could maybe benefit from that, because the position is a little more project management aligned, and sometimes when you're just very used to working with technical details, it gets easier to talk about those rather than the project management details that the interviewer is looking for, those skills, right? So it's just something, a way to sort of streamline the way you talk or the way you communicate the right skills to the interviewer, basically.
Okay. All right. Um, and then if All right. And then if I choose to go with the service, would I contact you or would I go back to how would I sign up for a service like that if I decide to
Shoot
go ahead and do it?
Fatima an email. Just shoot Fatima an email, and I can actually even send you the link for that. You could just add it to your card yourself. So I can definitely send you a link for that after our email, and you can schedule for yourself.
Okay.
Um, and the other thing I wanted to talk to you, because I'll be writing all the content for your LinkedIn, but I would definitely suggest, because you don't have a picture there, right? So if you can take a nice smiling picture, a headshot, and upload that, because usually recruiters, they don't just look at your resume, but they also look at the LinkedIn profile. So I'll be taking care of the content, but I just wanted to, that's another tip, that if you have a picture and then once you have the content, so you'll have a very nice LinkedIn profile. And basically recruiters, the resume has short precise bullets, and so what we'll be doing is we'll be expanding on them and telling stories of how you manage things using the LinkedIn profile. So
Okay.
that's something I
Um,
wanted.
I I just had a picture taken at a conference that I was at for my work. So I can upload that picture because it was a professional headshot that they did
Sure,
from the
yeah, that would be
conference.
amazing.
So I can upload that.
All right. I guess that's it for now. If you have anything else, just feel free to email me. And I do have that list of questions, the numbers, So once I have I think by tomorrow, same time tomorrow, or yeah, by tomorrow morning, I should be able to email you the list once I have the call transcribed. So I'll see all the details that I need, and I'll send you an email. And if you can find those details, it would be great. Otherwise, I guess we'll just work around that then.
Okay. All right. I will make myself a note and I will try to get that information for you tomorrow from work.
Sure. You don't. Yeah, whenever it's convenient for you. You don't have to rush it, but I'll send you an email as soon as I can with the list.
All right, that sounds wonderful. And thank you so much
Okay,
for your time.
no problem. Have a good evening then. I'm so sorry I took so much of your time.
No, it's quite all right. I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.